Do you remember, Chums, a couple of months back, I told you about a particular, really alarming story that came out from a cabinet meeting in 10 Downing Street. And it was a strange thing when you think about it, because as we've now seen over the last few months, more and more than ever, we're seeing migrants put up in big, four-star hotels in the very heart of London. Think about this, the financial district where you've got very wealthy people walking around with, mobiles, laptops, nice watches, all of that sort of stuff, slap bang in the center of it. These people, 500, 400 of them, all undocumented. We have no idea about their background. But Keir Starmer and Angela Rayner, of course, are now behind that brand new rail outside Parliament. They've got 24/7 security, armour-plated cars, you get the picture. And what's interesting now is that they're going to be looking into exactly you as an individual, because this idea is truly next. As ever, let me explain. Morning, good to see you. Thank you so much for your time. Nice to have your company. When I tell you these stories, I like to share them with you because, as I've often said, I love to know what's going on in your part of the world. And right now we have one of the weakest governments we've ever really encountered, because literally every day we are being invaded by people. And whether people want to be on the, the refugees, okay, if they're refugees, why do they bin their phones in the middle of the channel? Why do they turn up with no documentation? We have no idea who we are walking amongst. That's the problem. I think if people were transparent and said, I'm fleeing a war zone, here's my passport, this is my medical records, we know nothing. They reevaluate themselves very quickly to decide exactly the story they're going to tell us. You get the picture. But now the government, and as ever, I have to say allegedly, have we had a wave, Chums? I don't think so. Nice to see you. Thank you so much. The thing is, the government are now looking via things like the council tax band, which is the way that we pay our council tax over here, and to see how many occupants there are in the house. The second phase of that is to see if those people who've got, say, big houses, very big houses in some cases, whether they have any outhouses, small buildings, that sort of stuff. And the government plan, and this is 100% being discussed, is the idea to see whether you, if you had this stuff, would be willing to take on a migrant or migrants once all valid checks had been taken place. I mean, how do we know that? Right? I mean, they just lie to us permanently. So think about this. If you've got, say, or even if you're living in a house of 3 bedrooms, but now sadly through no fault of your own, perhaps you've become a widow or, a widower or whatever, and you just are in this situation where you're acclimatizing. It's the vulnerable point. This is what I'm trying to get at. They're going for the vulnerability of, well, at least you'd have company, you might have somebody to protect, that sort of stuff. They're going down this route, whatever people say. Now, what's interesting is this. As we know recently, the police, right, have been told that they're going to be cracking down because they're setting up a different area of force or whatever to crack down on anybody who says things that they don't particularly like about immigration, migrants, Islamophobia on social media. Wouldn't this be more prevalent if they actually just focused on not letting these people come into the country in the first place? Then you wouldn't have to waste so much time about the negativity that's now engulfing the United Kingdom, Great Britain. But of course, this is the government that we're truly under. They're now on a 14-week break, but of course, they're still working for you, working from home with all the security, all the ministerial cars. And time again, we're told that we're going to have to tighten our belts. Meanwhile, our current Foreign Secretary, David Lammy, tossing around millions of our money to other countries that clearly don't need it, but he wants to play big shot. But back to this particular story, it's very concerning, very worrying, because they are dramatically running out of places to put this invasion. And they wouldn't be able to force it, but you never know. But what's interesting is the way that they start to look at individuals. And I would say if you have anybody who's slightly vulnerable, do alert them to this, because you just never know what you could end up signing up for. Angela Rayner claims there's loads of houses and it's not a problem. So if there's loads of houses, why is this being discussed? As ever, open to chat. Neil Shaw in Kensington, London.